Awesome. Thanks, Megan. It's all fixed. Hmm. Did I wait a few minutes or should I just get started? It's like 12:01. Okay. I'll finish the slice of pizza and then I'll start. All right, let's get started. I guess so. Hi, hello. Today I'm going to be talking about bridging learnings from art into technical projects. My name is Ellen Duong. A little bit more about me. Hello, I'm Ellen Duong. I'm an artist, engineer, friend, daughter, community member, lifetime learner, educator, all of those things. Today we're going to talk about art and engineering, bridging learnings from art into technical projects, the importance of play, and do a little bit of brainstorming. A little bit more about me is that in undergrad, I studied at the University of Pennsylvania, and I studied digital media design, which is a major that combines both computer science and art classes as well. And I did my master's there as well, doing computer graphics and game technologies, where I continued on combining coursework in computer science and in fine arts. So kind of throughout, and art and engineering for me has always been intertwined. Yeah, so that's a little bit more about me. We'll get more into that in a little bit. But let's kind of start off with thinking about what words do you associate with engineering? So this is a participation slide. What words would you describe engineering with? Buildings, process, Iteration. Eric's has a word. Steal. Okay, things like that. Well, I've asked, don't worry, I don't have to go too far. I asked some high school students words that they associate with engineering. So these are some of those words. Building is there. Physics, electrical, robotics, iterative is there. Tech, math, curiosity. There's art, there's innovation. Machine, creativity, pioneer. Like these are all words that we associate with engineering. Now, let's think about what words are associated with art or making art. So what words do you have for art? Creativity. Drawing. Colors. Expression. All right, let's see what the high schoolers said. This is what the high schoolers told me. Sculpture, calming, creativity, unique, mediums, color, design, painting, heartfelt, paintbrush, style, abstract, drawing, subjective, expressive, elements, emotion, creativity, therapy. So these are some words associated with art or doing art. I lost my mouse. There it is. Here are some words that describe both art and engineering, and you may have seen it in between the two lists. There's innovative, innovation, creativity, design, expression, problem solving, aesthetics, collaboration, precision, and visualization. Can you think of any more words that might describe both art and engineering? Communication? Yeah. So those are just some things that combine both art and engineering, and it's kind of what we're going to focus on a little bit more. So let me talk to you about some lessons that I've learned. And for me, I'm continuously learning and always trying to figure out more. So these are some projects that I've done over the years that I'm going to share with you that I've learned from school or things like that. This was in a drawing one class that I did back, oh man, like 10 years ago at this point, I don't know. But something that I learned from that drawing class is this concept of moving from general to specific. To kind of get a rough sketch, not even a sketch, a rough like idea of where objects in a scene are relative to my drawing. So to kind of so this is a life study. To kind of capture the entire space of this drawing, I made like little marks, like dots on the page just to make sure that everything would fit rather than starting off in one certain aspect of it and then realizing I didn't have space for the picture. Spending too much time on one aspect of a drawing could disrupt the balance of a piece and make it look incohesive. Have you ever like, I don't know, back in like school days, or at least maybe it's just me, like drawing really detailed like anime eyes and then the face would be absolute junk? Yeah, yeah. Does that happen to you? It's happened to me. this concept, moving from general to specific, I guess in a technical term, would more be thinking about level of detail into a technical project, where like you have to think at a high level of like what you're trying to accomplish before you kind of really get into specifying things out. Another lesson that I've learned was to focus my time. This is an ink wash that I've done, and ink wash is a very chaotic medium if you've ever tried it. There's a couple of techniques. So it's basically watercolor, but you have your watercolor paper, you have a brush, and you have your ink wash. And there's a couple of techniques. It forces me to stay in the present because it's such a chaotic medium. It changes and you have to really pay attention to it. It's a very unforgiving medium. There's a couple of strategies. There's a wet on dry technique where you apply ink on dry paper. And there's a wet on wet technique where you apply ink to water onto the paper. As the ink gets laid down, there's not really an undo button. So I have to like really pay attention about whether like this is something that I want to place here. And it's okay that if it's wrong, I'll have learned something. But it's a start. Kind of tying this back to a technical project, approaching a technical project can seem very daunting. It can seem very much like a huge block of something that I have to get done, but I don't know where to start. And before I know it, it like kind of gets to be too much. So some strategies that I've learned to use over the years is to make to-do lists, is to not delve too deeply into something and getting into a rabbit hole. Instead, being like, let's bookmark this for a later time. Let's work on something else. Working in smaller time intervals, so such as 1 or 2 hour blocks with breaks, has been really helpful. Co-working with friends, even on different projects, keeps me motivated. Yeah. So those are some things I've learned through this. Oh, I need a chart. This next lesson that I learned was through pottery, or, well, it's a lesson that I keep learning over the years. Is not being afraid to start over. So in pottery, I've been making a lot of dishes and they're not good. Let me just tell you that right now, they're not good. But it's fun. Sometimes I'll get my hand on a piece and as it's spinning on the wheel, like I've accidentally knocked it or something has happened to it and I try to fix it and then it's not going the way that I want it to, but I'm trying to fix it. And it kind of gets to the point where I've been working on it too long. I just have to let it go. And that's okay. There's this analogy, I guess, or where a professor had given his students a task, and that task was to create the most perfect vase. And he told half of this class to just make one perfect vase. And then he told the other half of the class to keep making vases, to just make vases. The ones that were just told to make vases and iterate more, they were much more capable of creating more beautiful vases than the ones that were told to make one vase. And so something that I keep learning in pottery, as well as in a lot of things that I do, is not being afraid to start over, because I've learned every single iteration. I learned something. Oh, I put too much pressure on this bowl. I didn't keep it even enough. So I change every iteration. I haven't lost progress. I made progress, and I'm continuing to make progress. I think it's also about the way how I talk to myself, whereas how I talk about failure now is very different than how I talked about failure when I was in school. Because in school, everything was like not going to plan. Everything was not working well. And I was really down about that. But now I really acknowledge that I have gone through a lot of learning experiences, and that's part of it. It's not perfect. I wish I could say like, so great at accepting failure. I'm not. I try though. Here's some more. Here's some glaze failures. Look at these terrible glazes. They're just ridiculous. But it's okay. I realized that this blue does not go on top of this purple well. So I will not be doing that again. But I made some really cool stuff, and I'm taking a pottery class next week, so that'll be fun. Another thing that I think there's space in art for is problem solving. Problem solving, I think we always think about it as like really hard problems and like math problems or things like that. But there's just like small things. This is a table I built, and it converts from a dining table to a coffee table. So that was challenging to kind of figure out how to do that, as well as how to figure out how to make sure that it didn't like collapse on me. That was a huge thing. Have you had a table collapse on you? Well, I have. But the best part is that I had help. I had my friend Sarah here. She helped me build the table. And I added some latches that or locks that were not part of the original plan. And I did that so that the table wouldn't collapse on me. But that was a problem I had to solve. I also put my measurements wrong a little bit, so I had to adjust for that. I also had to work around a schedule that the design workshop was open at. So there was a lot of like problem solving and things not going according to plan, but there was a lot of adaptation. Another thing from those projects that I learned is teamwork and project management. I think I meant to go, oh, here it is. I didn't make a slide for this, but I grabbed it. These are some projects that I've done. This was a project that I did with the Da Vinci Art Alliance, which is an art gallery in Philadelphia. And it was to create this racing road track for students to race their cars in. I was working in a small group of like 5 of us. It was during the pandemic as well. And we had to work together to kind of figure out the design of the parts, how it would fit together, organizing students to create cars and what that distribution process would be, because the students would need to like get these little packets sent home to build on their own. So those packets needed to be like very like had really good instructions, and also they weren't able to like get access to the track until the day of the event. So we had to really give them specifications, other things like that. And we all volunteered our time, and it was all just for fun. And I don't know, it's one of those projects that I look back on, especially during the COVID time, of being like, wow, that's really cool that I did that. And I did it with some of my best friends. But it didn't feel like I had to get this done. It kind of just felt like I was working on a project, we were coming against problems, and we were problem solving together, and we were reevaluating what we needed to do next. So let's talk about play, and let's talk about the importance of play. I find that play is really important in my life, and I probably wouldn't be an engineer if I didn't love to play as well. I think it brings along like this lifelong love of learning. It generates enthusiasm, motivation, and this lifelong love of learning. It supports early development. Play is really important for kids. I think it's also really important for adults too. I think we forget that. Here's a quote. Learning through play supports the development of early literacy and numeracy skills in an integrated approach, while also cultivating children's social, emotional, physical, and creative skills. Some other reasons why play is so important is stress reduction. It's a way to relax, unwind, and temporarily disconnect from the work-related pressures, responsibilities, and worries. I think that's a big part about play, is that it's an experience, and it's not outcome oriented, it's very process oriented. Yeah. There's cognitive stimulation and creativity. So play encourages thinking outside the box, exploring new ideas, and approaching problem solving in novel ways. It's not like something has to work, but maybe there's something new to try, you know. Social connection and relationship building. It's an opportunity to bond with friends, families, or colleagues. Strong social connections have been linked to increased happiness and sense of belonging, which are essential to aspects of emotional well-being. Here's some essential characteristics of learning through play from a paper by the Lego Education. It's meaningful. When learners can relate to new experiences to something already known, thereby making connections between things that are relevant to them. Integrated approaches are meaningful when they are designed to include relevant and engaging tasks, inquiry questions, and problems or projects that are self-sustaining and thought-provoking. Another essential characteristic is being socially interactive. When learners are involved in working together in groups and are using strategies that have been designed to maximize the benefit of cooperative learning. And it's when learning occurs in new and different settings and contexts, or in a group around an activity or experiment. Actively engaging. It's when learners have choices, either big or small, to make about the content or processes involved in their learning. They have agency in what happens and can kind of see what happens as they make those choices, that their choices matter. Active engagement occurs when learners are deeply immersed, rely on and support other learners, and teachers guide learners to formulate understandings and develop new skills through prompting and questioning, rather than solely through explicit instruction. So instead of like giving explicit instructions of like what to do next, allowing students to discover what to do next is difficult to like post, but it is very powerful. Play is iterative is another essential characteristic. When we have the opportunity to explore and investigate new concepts, to try, to fail, to try again, sharing ideas with other people, revising, recalibrating how you approach something. It encourages learners to ask questions and to try again. And another essential characteristic is joyfulness. When like learners are curious, they enjoy learning new things and overcoming challenges through positive peer and teacher interactions. So it's categorized by interest and motivation, making choices, experiencing learning in a range of settings, being able to relate to their learning, being able to feel comfortable and confident about their learning. These are some important essential characteristics of learning through play. And then a little bit back towards child development, play kind of really brings out some essential skills. Cognitive skills, which is being able to concentrate, problem solve, and think flexibly to tackle complex tasks and build effective strategies to identify solutions. Emotional skills, being able to understand, manage, and express emotions by building self-awareness, handling impulses, as well as staying motivated and confident in the face of difficulty. Physical skills, being active, physically active, understanding movement and space through practicing sensory motor skills, developing spatial understanding, and nurturing an active and healthy body. Social skills, being able to collaborate, communicate, and understand other people's perspectives through sharing ideas, negotiating rules, and building empathy. Creative skills, being able to come up with ideas and express and transform them into reality by creating associations, assembling and representing ideas, and providing meaningful experiences for others. So let's come up with some ideas. What are some artistic, playful activities that you are a part of? knitting, gardening, collaborative storytelling. Used to be music. That's a good one. Let's see what the high school students are a part of. So these are some things high school students are a part of. There's dance, literary magazine, piano, band, drama, chorus, ceramics, voice lessons, debate, fine arts, piano's there, theater, academic competition. Wow. Orchestra, graphic design, creative writing. There's many different outlets that people have. What have you learned through these activities? Sorry? Working with other people and sharing ideas. It's never too late to learn. I love that, Camilla. Good stuff. Here are some things the high school students learned. Knowing when to rest, looking for a different perspective, the importance of balance, openness to failure. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned through art. Finding a deeper meaning in music, live in the moment by not taking things too seriously. Practice makes you better. Appreciating the world, how to relax. The less pressure you put on yourself, the better you will do. Practice makes you better. Overcoming challenges. I think these are things that you may not realize that you're doing while you're playing. But you're learning while you're playing. You're achieving a lot more than you think. It's not just a hobby. It's learning through play. I think I wish there was more funding for art out there. Because these are very valuable skills that don't seem like work. Here's some of the activities I've been a part of over the years. Pottery, volleyball, improv theater, stage crew, dancing, figure drawing, woodworking, cooking, making a pillowcase. I can afford my own pillowcases now. Origami, video editing, photography, graphic design, coding. It's been a lot of fun. And I still do a lot of this stuff today. I start back doing pottery next week. I'm really excited about that. I have a quote here. Play is not just a break from the ordinary, it is the essence of the extraordinary. It unlocks creativity, nurtures the soul, and reminds us that joy is not a destination, but a journey. I forget that a lot. Because I think a lot of the times we are outcome oriented and we just want what comes at the top of the mountain. I forget this a lot. And sometimes need a reminder that it's okay There's another hill. To me, play is important, and I think without it, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. Yeah, thanks. Much shorter talk than I thought. Questions, concerns. Where am I taking? Oh, so there's the Steel Yard is a great place that has lots of different art workshops there. They do the metal stuff, forging. They do ceramics. They do jewelry making, other things like that. There's the Brown Design Workshop that's like on campus, where you can do a lot of things like 3D printing, laser cutting, woodworking. It's a lot of theater stuff. I used to do ceramics at Mudstone Studios. It's a bit farther, but the teachers are really good. Yeah. The future of playing with kids on tablets. Technology and kids. Yeah. Well, I think we're still trying to figure that out these days, because screen parenting is really a thing where parents are using screen time as a pacifier to get kids to like stop crying. But I think screen time is in ways like removing a lot of like socialization for kids. I think play without screens, without technology is important. Yeah. I think interacting with like 3D objects is, I don't know, more consistent than what happens on a screen. And I think that that consistency is valuable. Like if I throw a ball, I expect it to bounce back or get caught or something. I don't know. I find that to be a really difficult question. I took a class last semester on parenting and child behavior, and the research for screen time is so new and not longitudinal enough to really understand the effects of it. Yes. Building play into work. I think a lot of it comes with being open to things and accepting failure and being able to pick yourself up and also being able to lean on others, I think is that. At CCV, we have this concept of code buddies, which I guess like it's how we frame it. And it's how we signal, hey, I need help. And then some people will hop on and help on with the problem. It could just be a help channel, like that's what it is. But we reframe it to say code buddies so that it's more welcoming, so that it is a space that we feel safe to ask questions and be vulnerable. And I think like that vulnerability, even though it's just a help channel, there's like nothing fancy about it. But I find it fun to kind of be solving problems with people and not suffering alone. I've done that too. Yeah. There's a lot of pizza left over, but thank you so much. Yay! Thank you.